Hey guys, how are you? Long time no see, right? I can't believe it's been 6 months that I've done a video. I really apologize vehemently. I will catch you up no longer than 10-15 minutes. What's been going on? Okay, so I'm Jeanette. This is my channel, Walking in the Dark with Faith. And you can look at my welcoming video. I think it's the one that has the picture of the painting of the Lord Jesus. And I'm looking at it right now. It says, hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. So again, my name is Jeanette, Walking in the Dark with Faith. And this is what's been going on. I was supposed to go and complete within the next couple of years my PhD in Bible exposition. Now, I just turned 60 in February, and I've been going to school on and off for quite some time. So as far as the financial aid portion, I used a lot of it. In fact, unfortunately, let's just say a lot of it was used. And again, school costs money. So between and I don't know if you can see it, let's see. The one over there on the gold, that's my associate's degree from Corning Community College, my bachelor's degree, summa cum laude, from Stockton University. And I have one over there. I think I've showed it before. My Master's of Arts from Liberty University. The Master's is in language exegesis. So languages and biblical languages, language exegesis. I always want to just say Hebrew and Greek, but it's biblical languages, language exegesis. That's the I guess the formal name. With that master's degree, there were three different types, three choices that one could have made for the master's. You could have done a thesis, you could have done the exegesis part, or you could have done linguistics. If you really wanted to be a teacher, the linguistics was the way to go. TESOL, I think it's called also, English of Second Language, blah, blah, blah. So people that wanted to do like high school or maybe even college, they would have chosen that one. I didn't feel like the Lord was leading me, so that's why I chose the exegesis one. So there were different other classes you would take other than the main, Hebrew, 2 years of Hebrew, 2 years of Greek. I took an extra class for advanced Greek grammar. And then I also took one that was called New Testament Textual Criticism, which was awesome. Oh my gosh, I just love that one. And there was other ones in between, but that was my master's. This one right here, if you can see it, let me see if I could turn this a little bit. This right here is what I've been working on. Now, this is called an executive certificate. If you're going for your PhD program, it's called in passing. So it's something that they award you once you reach a certain amount of credits, which is 21. If a person only wants to do the executive doctoral certificate, mine is in Bible exposition, then you just do the 21 credits, whatever you have to do, the certain amount of languages, certain few amount of classes, and voila, you get an executive doctoral certificate. I wasn't planning on getting that yet. Again, if you're in the PhD program and once you reach 21 credits, you can call them up and say, hey, blah, blah, blah. I did not know about this until I spoke to them in January. Student counselor, academic services at Liberty University. So they were kind enough to tell me about it. And I said, okay, I guess, whatever. I crossed that bridge, whatever. And I just figured, maybe later on or whatever, because I intended to continue in my studies. But long story short, life happens. The end of financial aid happens, and I took one class as I planned to give myself a break for 5 months. I've been going to school for 7 years straight to get my bachelor's, which I only thought that's all I was going for. And the Lord, well, he had other ideas, of course. He always does. So that's why I continued. And once I knew I was continuing, other things that I wanted to do, like, let me see, unfortunately, I put this on top of here. I'll show you. This Above and Beyond Ministry has a deliverance ministry counseling certificate that you can get. Above and Beyond Christian Counseling, you can find them on the web. This is something I wanted to do 4 or 5 years ago. And that was put on hold because once I finished this, I went right into, I graduated December 21 with my bachelor's and went right into Liberty January of 22 to start my master's. I got done with that May of 23 and signed up for my PhD program of Bible exposition. So again, been going. Sometimes even during the summer, I would take a course. So by this January, I'm done. I'm just so wiped out. Moving back to Jersey, just the whole 9 yards. So the woman from Academic Services said, give yourself a break, Jeanette. Just take one class, go half-time. And of course, you might say, well, duh. I didn't even think of that. Again, didn't know about this. Didn't know that I could do that, half-time. So that's exactly what I did. And from March, now the last time I made a video was late January. And I figured, all right, I just started classes. I figured, let me get through to March and then, come back on. Obviously, that didn't happen. So I needed that break. I really did. Mentally. In fact, it is July 30th today, 2025. So it's been March, let's say March 7th or whatever was the end of my B section, class. So April, May, June, July. So it's been 4 months. And my brain still is like, okay, what do I have to do something? What else do I have to read? It's like you go for so long. It takes so long for your brain to realize you're on a break. That's how it's been for me. Plus, if you saw the pile of books behind on my desk here, and you see all this, right? I've purchased so many more books that deal with deliverance ministry, but biblical counseling, and I'll tell you why in a minute. So, did I want to go back to school as of August? Knowing that by May, when I signed up for the fall class, all of a sudden I found out you're maxed out with your financial aid. All you got left is the 3 classes that were left to do in what we call stage 2 of our PhD program. Stage 3 is all about the dissertation. The other thing I found out in January, besides this wonderful executive certificate and the fact that I could take a break and go half-time, that basically means 1 class per semester instead of the 2. You go to PhD in your master's, 3 classes is full-time, PhD 2 classes, because you're doing more, you're reading more, you're researching more. It's just that much more work. So they have less classes, but you're just that much more busy. So besides finding out about the certificate and the fact that I can take a break and there would be no issues with that, by May, I found out I don't have any more money. And that the third stage classes were not 8 weeks each. They were a whole semester. So the last 3 classes that a person deals with in the PhD program for Bible exposition is an entire semester. You might say, well, yeah, okay, fine. When you've been going for 8 weeks and get done a class like this, it's great, wonderful, hard, a lot of work. I mean, it's one semester, squished into 8 weeks. The dissertation is your book, your chapters that you're writing out. So obviously that's why it was a whole semester. But for me, to look forward to that after these 3 classes were done, that means fall of 26 to possibly spring or even fall of 28. Why so long? Because I found out also in the second and possibly and third classes, they can keep you back. And you would have to repeat the whole thing until obviously your dissertation is ready to move forward to the next class, and then your final argument. So you had your 3 classes and then the final argument, and then that's it. I was never pursuing a PhD. This was all the Lord's doing. I went back to school reluctantly for that right there, for my bachelor's degree, to get a job, because you needed a bachelor's degree for jobs that I already had with experience, only with the associate's degree. That's just the way this world is. So for me to go ahead and not only get that, but my master's and now a doctoral certificate, I'm good. And I made that decision just a few weeks ago. I said, that's it, I'm done. Because the more it was on my brain, even though I went ahead and registered for the fall class, I just dropped it. I just emotionally and mentally could do no more. And it's not because I'm 60 years old now and this and that. It's little of everything that is around me. There's a little more responsibilities here and just things that I said I would help out with and whatever, because I came back to help a family member out, and I left my my wonderful apartment and peace and job, mind you, in Pennsylvania a couple of years ago. So, but that it is what it is. This is where the Lord wanted me to be. Commanding officer gave me his, orders, and the soldier had to follow them. And that, as they say, is that. So, not to make this any longer, that's why I called and I said, you know what? I think I'm good. Can you send me, And they said, well, you have 36 credits. You did way more than you needed to. By all means, you definitely earned this. So, I have my executive certificate, doctoral certificate in Bible exposition, and along with everything I have, I also am now an ordained minister. You probably can't see that, but that's the certificate there. And the reason why I did that, and yes, I did that online through a particular church, it's just because the Lord, and it has no disparaging on the Catholic Church or any church out there, that I'm not being a pastor, I'm not pastoring a church or anything like that. I was called to the ministry And if you read my books, you'd find out, okay? I was called to the ministry at around 19 years old to inform and warn. So in the office of a prophet and also spiritual warfare. I reluctantly accepted, and then within a year or so, I Jonah'd. I did a Jonah, and I went the other way, and I just was like, yeah, no, okay? And even though I read certain books and kind of kept up on, what's going on with spiritual warfare and obviously learning and loving the Bible, again, if you read my books, you'll find out what I've done in my personal life that really kept me off my path that the Lord intended for me to be on until just 7 years ago, around roughly 7 years ago. So now that I'm on that path, I've been on that path, he was able to say, okay, it's you and me, kid. And that's why I accomplished all that I did in 7 years. Bachelor's, master's, and now doctoral certificate. Walking in the Dark with Faith, that was his title that he chose for these books, for what first was and I still have it, my blog page. And honestly, that's how it is. Okay? That's how it still is financially for me. When I tell you, I had almost a meltdown when I found out I was not having a student refund. As many jobs, I cannot tell you how many jobs I applied for. I mean, I don't apply for jobs that, she doesn't have any experience. I apply for jobs I have experience. It's right on my resume. I'm a Jane, of different, I have many different notches in my belt that I've done, office work, you name it, retail, okay, working in a food store. Nothing. So whatever the Lord's doing with that, I have to ride that wave. This is one of the reasons why he's kept me from getting any other jobs, because of two things. One, he wanted me to concentrate more on my studies at the time. But now that they're done, now it's all about the deliverance ministry. This is a brand new brochure that I made up. It seems to be very wordy, or at least according to my family member. But it had to be explained thoroughly as to what deliverance ministry is. A non-licensed, biblically based, Holy Spirit-led deliverance ministry. Okay? I'm that person that you can call or email or, text or message and to find out what the heck is going on in your life. These strongholds, these bondages that you're having, these things that are keeping you from being mentally and emotionally and spiritually sound in Christ. And I can at least point you in the right direction to the people that can help you if it's something that it's where you need to speak to, for example, Monsignor Stephen Rossetti, who is a licensed psychologist. He's an exorcist. Love his work. Or people like Above and Beyond Counseling. Okay, who are, again, licensed clinical, Christian therapists. It depends on what you need. So this is something that he's had me do, and it's short and sweet. The secular counselors, they take care of, or at least they're supposed to, take care of your mental, behavioral, and emotional issues. Nobody takes care of the spiritual. The biblical counselors do that. And some of them are licensed, and some of them, like myself, are not. Have you taken psychology class? Yeah, long time ago. Mine is biblically based. Mine is more, and I'll get into it more. I don't want to make this too long. What I should say, what the Lord is having me do is, again, make people aware of the problems that they have, the roots to them. Because I've seen people, even in my family, friends, people, acquaintances, that have issues and have gotten help for those issues, and they do fine, and then before you know it, those issues come back, and then they get the help they need, and then they do fine, and then all of a sudden something happens and they fall, and you see what I'm saying? It's like cyclic. And that's what the devil does. He just keeps you on that circle, and you're never fully recovered. You're never fully delivered and set free. So that's what my little part about this is. My ministry is to point you to and make you realize what that root of the problem is. Then, if it's something that can be handled, I don't want to say quickly, but, something that, you don't need so much like an exorcist or, who's a psychologist, or, deliverance ministry counselor, or another Christian counselor, like a licensed. You can do all three. You can go to Monsignor Rossetti right online and do his monthly prayers. He does that. You can just find out, through the questionnaires that I will have ready for a person to look at, check off, and say, oh yeah, I've done that. Oh yeah, okay, yeah, I've been involved in this. Wow, that opens up demonic doorways. See, that's the problem. People don't realize what demonic doorways they open up if they're doing this, that, and the other thing. Don't want to get into it here. That's what this is all about. That's it. It's to make a person realize that the spiritual roots end up causing the mental, the behavioral, and the emotional issues. If the spiritual root of the problem is not addressed, cyclic. That's what's going to happen. So that, and one last thing. This is my first book, Walking in the Dark with Faith. And when I tell you, I really, as a self-published author, it's really hard. You don't sell much. I was very, I don't want to say ignorant, but I was also a little ignorant, but a lot more reluctant in doing this. I did not want to put my dirty laundry out there. This was the Lord's really nudging for me to talk about my life, just like the prophets did, and David did, and Moses, and okay. So this is something that he really had to twist my arm to do, and I did two. This is my first one. This is my second. And now, because I made the decision to be done with school once and for all, I'm being nudged to do the third one. The third one will go from where I left off, January of 2020, to present day. What's been going on in the last 5 years of my life. So between the blog page, Facebook, the deliverance ministry that I am trying to put together and to help people. And like I said, it could be as simple as, Jeanette, can you at least look down the list? Can I see the list? Can I check and see? And no offense, Jeanette, but I really would rather go to a licensed count. That's fine too. But if you want to find out what the roots of the problem are, please contact me. Okay? Like I said, I'll be doing more. I just wanted to do a catch up with y'all. So that's that with this. And again, I will be working on book number 3. Also, at the time I just started my Zazzle store, Faith in the Dark, on Zazzle.com. So it all has to do with, again, walking in the dark with faith. Those are items in my store that most of them are, scripturally based or Christian, but some aren't. Some are just, pretty, items like sunflowers and, beautiful rainbow clouds and whatnot. So, check it out. Faith in the Dark store on Zazzle. And that's really what I've been up to. I felt really bad, like I said, for weeks and weeks. I keep saying, I gotta hop on to, YouTube and do a video. So I really, really appreciate you even watching this. Tried to make it 15 minutes. We're up to 25. So, but that's it. Again, I'm done with school. I got my doctoral certificate. No, I'm not Dr. Jeanette because I don't have a PhD, but this is the next best thing. Working towards book number 3 in the Walking in the Dark with Faith series. And that, there always was supposed to be 3 books. Okay. And he wants me to do the 3rd. I will do it. My blog page, again, faithinthedarkhome.com, or else you could just say Walking in the Dark with Faith, Jeanette Elizabeth Geis Marcelli. And look me up there, subscribe, like, get it in your email. Look me up, Jeanette Elizabeth, on Facebook. 99.9% of my posts are public because he wants the message out there. So between, the spiritual warfare, now more on the deliverance ministry, truth being revealed, lies being exposed, so on and so forth. That's what I do. And that's it. So thank you. I appreciate you guys watching this, and like it, share it. I appreciate it. Check me out. Like I said, my books are on Amazon. I will obviously be on here more often, let you know how I'm doing with my books, my studies, all that. And that's it. So I appreciate it. I'll see you guys on the next video. God bless.